This is the LowcoSports Lowdown podcast. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett and Wes Kerr.
Hey, LowcoSports fans, welcome to another edition of the LowcoSports Lowdown, which means it must be Thursday. If you're scoring at home during this holiday season, it's definitely that time of year where we forget what day it is, but it's definitely helping me stay on track by knowing what show we're doing. And I'm Justin Jarrett, joined as always by Wes Kerr for the LowcoSports Lowdown. We'll be getting you caught up on a little bit of everything. Lots of hoops going on, lots of holiday tournaments. You were over at Bluffton today for the Bobcat Classic, and we've got one of the stars of the show in the green room. Takoya Hayward will join us momentarily to chat a little bit more about what went down over there. We're going to talk some wrestling as well. Ashley Powell trying to make his way by before he crashes for the night. It's like Christmas Eve for him. The Shark Invitational starts in the morning. It's time to go. All the presents are wrapped, and it's time to unwrap them tomorrow in the two gyms over there. So that's going to be fun. We'll name our players of the week as well, our athletes of the week. So going to have a fun time tonight. But and you had a good time over at Bluffton today, and two nice dubs for the Bobcats. How'd everybody fare?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't start off too well for the Lowco teams. Whale Branch and both Hampton County teams lost, but finished on a good note because both the Bluffton girls and the Bluffton boys came out victorious. So they will wrap up the night again tomorrow. So we'll get some finals in here real quick. Bobcat boys, 46-43 over Summit Country Day. They staved off a furious comeback in the final seconds. It got a little tense there at the end and got a little chippy, but three at the buzzer was no good to try to force OT from Summit Country Day. So Bobcats hang on. 19 points from Carnell Warren to lead the way in that one for the Bobcats. And then the girls, led by Jelena Mosley, had the high scoring number with the box score momentarily. But it was a really balanced effort between Mosley and Takoya and Maddie Washington. Everyone was really in sync and played well together as a team. And let's bring in Takoya now to talk about the Bobcats' opening round victory. Koya, how are you doing today?
Good. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Always great to have you on the show. Nice dub today for the girls. I know that. Oh, what do you got, Wes?
Koya with 12.
You got stats?
Maddie Washington with 13 and Jelena Mosley leading the way with 14. So really balanced effort to Koya. Nice. Tell me about how it went down tonight and what you thought of how you guys came out in the first round of this tournament.
Today was a little rough. I mean, we did blow them out, but today it was rough, especially in the beginning. We just had a lot of stupid turnovers, and we weren't playing as a team like we always do. So at halftime, Coach Roberts gave us a little speech, and we had to get it together. So.
Got one of those halftime speeches, huh? You got to get one of those every now and then. The holidays are definitely a time where you can kind of come out and do that. And I think you guys had an opponent tonight who had like one win on the season. So, yeah, you can kind of sleepwalk through that for a half. But I'm glad Coach got you snapped back to attention because it'll definitely get tougher tomorrow. Looking ahead to the rest of this tournament, you guys have always had good success kind of keeping the hardware at home. But who do you feel like – or how do you feel like your opponents look the rest of the way?
Cypress Bay tomorrow.
Yes, we play Cypress Bay tomorrow. Well, I was at the school since the first game this morning, so I watched everybody play. I'm not going to say I'm too worried about any of the teams that we could possibly play, but, I don't want to doubt anybody or underestimate anybody. As far as Cypress Bay, they do have a really good guard, and I have the assignment of guarding her tomorrow. But other than that, as long as we run the floor and, we outwork them like we always do, we'll be fine. And I stand on that for even in the team that's probably going to make it to the championship game. As long as we just play Bobcat basketball, we'll be totally fine. We just got to clean up everything from tonight and fix it before we go into the game tomorrow.
Yeah, just keep with what you did well. And I thought you guys finished strong in that second half. I saw you knock down a big three-pointer. And really the passing was on point, I thought, in that second half. So, tell me about how you guys finished, and especially Jelena Mosley, who had a terrific game tonight, leading the way in scoring.
Well, I'm just going to bring up that little halftime talk again. A little halftime talk. He sat us down, and they were telling us that, we just kept turning the ball over. We weren't playing Bobcat basketball. We weren't being smart. So we had to get together and some of my teammates were like getting in their head and stuff, so I had to talk them through it, and I really had to just. I mean, even though I wasn't playing as well as I wanted to, I still had to make sure that they could perform to the best of their abilities. So I was just talking them through it. I was the voice on defense, voice on offense. So it was just running through me. But eventually we got it together. You know, we hit a couple threes, got a couple N1s, couple steals, layups, and then we started playing how we usually play.
You were noticeable all game long defensively, going the extra mile to deflect passes and make it tough for Forsyth County to really find control of what they want to do on offense. So, you play such a great brand of defense. Describe what that brand is in terms of Bluffton basketball and how you prioritize defense to really set up the offensive tech.
As far as defense, I prefer defense 100% over offense. I mean, I've always liked defense, even from when I started playing. But the reason I watch basketball is because I watch how other kids play defense on like the best players. I see how people use their dig hand. I see how they shield them and cut off one hand and go this way. So by watching basketball, I've just incorporated that into my game and I've executed it to the best of my ability. And I mean, it works for me. It works for me. I'm quick on my feet. I have kind of a long wingspan, so I can get to steals and get deflections and stuff easier. I can out rebound anybody as long as I jump high enough. So, I mean, it just works for me.
Been working for you guys pretty well so far this season. You've been on a good run, and we talked to you early, and you were like, "Yeah, we weren't too sure coming into the year." The confidence was growing the last time we talked to you, and now I think you guys obviously took some lumps against Military Magnet when you were down several players, but it seems like maybe you've grown a little bit from that. It seems like you guys are starting to hit your stride a little bit. Is that confidence continuing to grow in this group, and how far you might be able to go?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even though we're only 7 players deep, I feel like we've grown a lot from the beginning of the season. This is our 3rd tournament now. The first tournament we did okay. The second tournament was really where I felt that we came together, especially after the first game we played Greer. I feel like after that game, that really showed us that we can compete with these big schools regardless of us only having 7 players. It really showed like the players that are always like worried or nervous about playing, it shows that they can compete. And that's what they did tonight. Even though we were iffy in the beginning, they did get it together and they were making passes and stuff. So I'm
There's
proud of
that
them. I
shot
told them
you're
that
talking
from the
about. Jelena game winner against Greer. That was
and she kept it rolling tonight. She was reliable, especially in that second half, really all game long for you guys. And Maddie Washington doing some good things there in the post. So, and a little rust, as you said, in that first half. But I thought you guys really picked up as you went on. But how nice is it to be back home? After playing a couple of tournaments on the road, and a lot of games away from the Bobcat Den. How nice is it to be home this week to play the tournament that you're hosting?
It feels pretty nice, but I love away games because I love when people like doubt us because we have 7 players and then we prove them wrong. Like that's the best feeling. They like, especially when we played Hampton the last time, they were talking about how we only had 7 players and how they didn't understand how we were beating Hampton by like 20 or almost 30 points and we only had 7 players. But you got to look deeper than that. We have 7 players, but we have like 5 or 6 solid players. It's not just that we have 1 or 2 solid players. We have truly solid players. So to doubt us, I love that we prove them wrong every single time.
Well, and you're all built to play the whole game too. I mean, that's the thing. Is like you've done it for a long time now, and Jelena's trended more and more toward that over the last couple of years, and you guys are conditioned to go the distance, so it makes it a little bit easier than sometimes somebody you go from having to play 18 to 20 minutes a game, and then a couple of people graduate, and now you got to play all 32. It's a little different, but you guys been doing it. You have in particular. You haven't come off the floor much for several years over there at Bluffton. But how about the boys getting a nice dub tonight? That team's been a little up and down, I would say, but it sounds like the morale, the culture is all trending in a positive direction. What do you think about them tonight?
As far as boys team, I'm really glad that they won tonight. I feel like as long as a couple people are on target during their games and that they can get the energy going, I feel like they're gonna beat anybody. They're athletic. We have so many football players, track athletes. Like, they are the most athletic boys team that Bluffton's had, in my opinion, in a hot minute. And then we just got this new coach. I love Coach Gabriel. I absolutely love him. He's giving me tips on my game. He's asking questions about how stuff works around here. Like, he wants to see them succeed, and I love that for them. He's so helpful. I mean, he's a little crazy at times, but I love Coach Gabriel.
The good ones are. The good coaches are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carnell Warren with 19. He was a beast tonight. He put up three pointers and was going bananas in that third quarter. He was lighting it up, but you don't sleep on Jamari Manning. He can hit some clutch shots, and he is cash money at the free throw line, and he was again today. And
what just happened there?
Boy,
it just took over the whole screen there.
My phone hit I'm doing double duty at one time. It's difficult, but Jamari Manning once again some clutch free throws, and then Brandon Bryant, he can slice his way to the hoop. So a really great team effort, and a nice gutsy win over a pretty strong team there. But Takoya, looking ahead to tomorrow and to the rest of this tournament, you mentioned that your game was kind of on and off, but what are you hoping to do tomorrow to try to spearhead the Bobcats for a berth in your championship game?
Well, it's kind of the same story. It's like when we played Greer, my game was kind of off, and then when we played Berkeley, I realized that our team needed me, so I had to step it up. So if it comes down to it, I'm hoping I don't have to like lock myself in. I want to go into the game already locked in, already focused, ready to go, attacking the basket, doing what I always do. But if it comes down to it, if I realize that my team needs me, I'm obviously going to step up and try my best to get us a win, because this is my last Bobcat Classic. This is my last time playing in this Christmas tournament ever. So I want us to win this whole thing.
It feels like just yesterday I interviewed you and TT outside of the Bobcat Classic, and we talked about TNT, and it's like now we're at the end of the road. It's wild, man. But no, great job today, Takoya, and thanks for jumping on with us tonight. Always a pleasure to speak with you and see your smiling face.
Much for having me.
I hope to get out over the next couple of days and see you ball a little bit.
All right.
Take care,
night, guys.
Takoya. All right, later. Takoya Hayward, Bluffton Bobcats basketball star, having a great senior season thus far, and they're off to a great start at the Bobcat Classic. But
so boys, we got just tying up loose ends here. The boys will play Marvin Ridge tomorrow in the one of the two semifinals. The boys, and then we got Marietta, which beat Hampton County. Hampton was down 10. They rallied back, nearly took the contest. They cut it to within one, but just couldn't quite get over the hump there, and they fell to Marietta by 4. Marietta will play Episcopal, who beat South Point at the boys bracket, and then on the girls side, we mentioned Bluffton went up against Cypress Bay, and on the other side, we got Woodmont from South Carolina facing off against Episcopal of Jacksonville, Florida, which beat Hampton. So there are your semifinals for the Bobcat Class tomorrow. We got both Bobcat teams in action, so Great to see the hosts doing well.
Yeah, very good, and hopefully we'll see the hosts do well this weekend as well at the Shark Invitational. And Santa, the wrestling Santa Claus of the Lowcountry, is staying up late with us tonight. He's getting his camera all squared away there, but we got Coach Powell in the green room. Looks like he may be on the move. You on the move, pal? What's going on?
I'm good
You're
now.
Just bobbing around.
No, I'm good now. I looked and my phone said like 10%. I'm like, oh, that's not going to be good.
I saw you go scrambling when we were about to go to you. I was trying to let you get settled, but I know it's been chaos over there. I made the analogy at the top of the show that it's like Christmas Eve for you. You got all the presents wrapped and under the tree, and now you finally get to go to bed and wake up in the morning and go unwrap them. But looking forward to another great Bobcat Shark Invitational. We were just talking Bobcat Classic, but the Shark Invitational, 32 teams. I mean, don't have don't have like a Pennsylvania or anything sprinkled in there like we have from time to time, but you got some really quality squads across South Carolina and Georgia. So, who are some of the really quality teams? Or we talked about it last night on the Lowco Grind, but JJ Peace from Cane Bay will be here, which is a real show for people who haven't seen him wrestle, undefeated in his high school career. But anybody else we should keep an eye on?
Yeah, JJ Peace is an excellent representation of our state. He's undefeated, and I think more importantly, he's top 10, I think top 12 in the country in his weight class. He's going to American University. He's a three-timer. I think best teams, we got, South Effingham was Georgia state champ last year. We got Fort Mill, who was the 5A classification in our state champ. They were state champs. So we got a bunch of solid teams. Like I was counting in one weight class today, just kind of looking through briefly. And I think one weight class, we have 3 state champions in his weight class. So we have a lot of quality individual kids. Like I said, team-wise, I got to say South Effingham's probably the favorite. I think they won it the last 2 years maybe. I think Camden County out of Georgia won it the year prior to them. But there's a lot of just quality wrestling from top to bottom. I think we got nearly 400 kids registered as of late last night. Now we had a couple scratches today. We got 132-man bracket is actual field with 32 wrestlers. And I think our smallest bracket was 21. So, we're getting close to having 32-man bracket filled up in all 14 weight classes. So it's a good opportunity for our kids right here on the backside of Christmas to get some quality competition.
That's fantastic. And leading back into the month of January when we get into the region meets and such. But, this has got to be a lot of work for you, but very rewarding. So, tell me about the process that you go through to plan this tournament and to set it up and to give these kids an amazing opportunity to go up against some of the best from this state and beyond.
Yeah, we wanted to host a tournament a couple years ago. Like, a good buddy of mine, Coach Newton over at Hilton Head, his big thing was why travel 4 hours when you can do something in your backyard. And we've had a lot of parents who've been incredibly helpful. We got a great coaching staff, man. That's what I'm very, very lucky is, that the coaches that we have in our room do an amazing job. Like I said, I think we're all equal in terms of what we're trying to do with the program. It's not I'm the head coach and this is what we do. It's a collective deal, which is a lot of times a lot of people don't have that. So they're taking care of it. If I'm trying to step out and go call something and make sure this gets brought here or whatever the case may be, pick up mats. They've been excellent. But, our goal was to try to produce a premier tournament down here. Coach Newton used to have one a long time ago down in this area. And, he got it up to like 60 teams, 70 teams. He used to have host it down in Charleston. I think 32 to 40 is probably the biggest we can host at our facility. But, the goal is, man, we want to get the best teams that we can. In wrestling, it's not we're just trying to beat up on teams that are better than we're better than. We're trying to go and get our kids to wrestle as tough as possible. So when we get to the state tournament or get into a tough match in the playoffs, we've already seen it. And I think we've been able to do that last couple of years. And each year we try to, keep expanding. We're lucky. Last year we had a Pennsylvania team, a Tennessee team, a North Carolina team, Florida and Georgia. Just how the calendar worked out this year, we only have North Carolina, Georgia, and South Carolina represented. But we got, like I said, the team out of North Carolina is coming. They got a state champion at 132. He's a hammer. So it's been good to try to build it together. And, and like I said, we got a lot of South Carolina kids who are very, very quality.
You said 132 hammer. I believe your freshman hammer is registered at 132 this weekend, correct? So that could be fun.
He is, and I think he's seated like, I just to show you how quality of depth that is, I think he's seated around 7th or 8th, and he's undefeated. So that just goes to show you that 132 has got some absolute hammers in it. So it'll be a good test for everybody, involved in that, and that's the goal is, to wrestle tough people now, so you at least feel prepared when the time comes to try to win a state championship. You can't win a state championship this weekend. And we're not giving out no state championships. So the goal is to wrestle hard and wrestle tough and try to get better.
Well, you guys are
yeah, go ahead, Wes.
You certainly were on your way when you look at this May Riverside and you've been busy. You have been throwing them in the fire throughout this holiday break, this holiday time frame. So, tell me about your opinions on the state of this team and how much like you've grown from beginning of the year preseason workouts to right now as you get ready to face off against the best in the Southeast.
Yeah, we like we talked about a lot before on our show here with you guys is we graduated a lot and had a stud move away, and we're very young. Well, we got some, and I say young, we got some older kids who just not having to be in that starting role, but they've worked hard, man. They come to practice every day. Like I said, we are very very fortunate for the coaching staff that we have. Everybody has their own little niche about how to get kids to wrestle hard, and that's been our message the whole time is we have to be tough. We have to wrestle hard the entire 6 minutes. We just can't roll over. And they're starting to get a little bit of confidence. I mean, like I said, we've gotten people, like that have been on our team for a while, but just haven't had to actually be that starter. And we're moving in the right direction. If the best your team wrestles is in December, then you're probably in a bad spot. So we're trying to continue to grow and to peak at the right time. So hopefully tomorrow and Saturday will be another step in that right direction. But I'm very proud of our kids. We got 40 kids on our team. That's the most kids we've ever had. Our room, we've outgrown our room, and we have to be very creative with how we practice. But I guess that's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Like I said, we had practice the day after Christmas. We had 37 to 40 kids there, and 3 of the kids I was aware of where they were. So their commitment to the program is why we're being successful. It don't have a lot to do with me per se, but they want to be good, and we're going to keep seeing how far we can take this thing.
Man, that's outstanding to see that level of commitment, especially over the holidays. Because, I mean, as you and I both know, as veterans of the sport, you can't let yourself go over the holidays and expect to be able to pick up where you left off. So to see the kids appreciating that and understanding and buying in and being in there is a great thing. But I was going to say that, what I love about you talked about Newton's vision of why don't we just have one here? What I love about that is it kind of goes into the thing that we've talked about a lot. And when we talk about reverence and just the kind of grassroots growth of wrestling in the area, and the relationship that all the coaches have. I mean, it's really a collaborative, cooperative deal. And I think by you guys having this in your backyard and everybody local having the opportunity to come wrestle here and stay at home and save that money and stuff too, man, what a great thing for them too. Like you're bringing a bunch of the best teams in the state right here to their doorstep and letting them stay home and get tested. So that's a great thing. And I think the caliber that we've seen across the area continues to increase. So looking forward to some other guys like, Jeremiah Chavez, the heavyweight from Bridges Prep, is a guy that I think will benefit from seeing this kind of competition. Who are some other guys that you kind of have your eye on from around the area that caught your attention maybe at the Lowco championships or along the way?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that heavyweight is one for sure. The heavyweight from Beaufort is a quality
Priester
kid. He'll get him a chance to compete a little bit. Hilton Head, I think 3 kids really step off the radar to me in terms of Hilton Head. Their 13 is a very very good wrestler.
Yep. Stevenson, yeah,
he's very good. They got a 175, I think, who.
Calvin Clayton.
That's
Calvin
Clayton.
They
got a 50-pounder who's already inherited their little Mason tilt that Newton does, and he did incredibly well at the county tournament. So, just them in general. And then you look at Bluffton. I mean, Bluffton's got some really good kids. They got a 57 I think he's at 57 this weekend. He's been at 65 all year. He put a lot of time in the off season. Their heavyweight is very good. And then they got a couple of new kids that just really tough kids along their lineup that I think are going to battle and get a chance to place as well. So, and Beaufort, Beaufort's got a lot of athletes. We saw some of them front and center over at the county tournament. So I think our county will be represented well. But I think the most important thing is like you said earlier, is our county kids are going to get to see some kids in their classification that maybe from the upstate or kids they'll see at a later date. To hopefully motivate them to keep working hard and try to close that gap.
Yeah, I mean, you can't ask for better competition this time of year, and what you're going to see, because these are the guys at the level of what's going to take to get to the point you want to be in February, is to be competing for a state championship. So I totally I'm I love how you said it. It was like, you can't win a state championship in December, but it certainly goes a long way if you perform there. So looking across your group, what do you hope to see from these next 2 days, and so just some target guys that you think could have an especially big outing at this home tournament?
Yeah, I haven't. I haven't actually looked at any of our kids to see where they're seated. Like, I guess that's the only thing that kind of stinks when you're actually running a tournament, is you're
Yeah.
concerned with how everybody else is, making sure everybody else is. Like, I literally just today I looked and I was like, oh gosh, I misspelled a kid's name, and I was worried about making sure, because you're hosting an event.
Yeah.
They're coming to your place. You want to treat them right and do right by them so they come back. But I'm looking forward to a couple of our kids who've been very close. Our kids moved a little bit this week, weight class wise. Christmas and wrestling comes December 25th, where you get those 2 extra pounds,
Yeah,
which
that's
are
right.
huge. So our kids, a couple of them made the move for this tournament to kind of see how they wrestle, see how they feel, and a couple kids that I'd like to see do incredibly well and kind of see how they can match up against. We've had a couple kids who've done really well all year, but we've had people like Marcus Folk, who's been close. Caden McCallum has wrestled incredibly well. He's sliding down a weight class, so we'll see how he can compete.
Oh yeah, I just saw that Folk and McCallum both sliding down one.
They
That's
slid down.
interesting.
We got our 126. Our kid who's starting all year at 32 is be at 26. He's out of town. It was a family deal. So he's been wrestling really well, but he'll be out in the lineup this weekend. But we'll give another guy a chance to come in there and battle a little bit. And we got some some Michael Sands, the Owens, Harwells who've been in our lineup. And maybe they can in most tournaments they've been going 2-2 or 3-2. Maybe they get up to ante and get to 4-2, and maybe advance to that second day for sure and battle. And then we got some guys up top, that have gotten their weight under control. They're starting to compete a little bit, and hopefully the goal is to get everybody in our team to day 2. I think if you're in day 2, that means you're at least top 16. I think is how it's set up. So hopefully get everybody to day 2 and get the way in and compete that second day, and that's the ultimate goal, and see if we can't get some medals.
That's a great goal individually. Anyway, it's just, hey man, I just want to stick around to fight another day, and then all bets are off. Anything can happen if you're still around on Saturday. So no, definitely excited for this thing, and just want to give you a shout out for the yeoman's work that goes into making something like this go off. Like you said, people will be fussing about all kinds of little things tomorrow and ignoring the 99% of things that came together perfectly. But hopefully they don't get too caught up in it, because there's a lot of great wrestling to watch. And as far as spectators go, you get started at 10 o'clock each day, right?
Well, tomorrow we weigh in at 10. We hope to start at 11:30. Hopefully 11:30 is our goal. We try to bump weigh-ins back a little bit to give those people so they don't have to stay 2 nights. Most people within a 3-hour drive. So if they leave at, they're leaving at 7 o'clock, that's a pretty typical morning anyways. So what that allows for is everybody not to have 2 nights of hotels. Day 2, we weigh in at 8:30, try to get started about 9:30, but sometimes it'll be close to 10. So hopefully, like I said, we've got an incredible parent group that's done a lot with our hospitality room, and that's the huge part that they take off of the coaches' shoulders, that they've done that. We got some sponsors who've donated some meals and things like that. So we're very, very fortunate. Our lacrosse team runs our concession stand. I think they're going to have some food trucks out there tomorrow as well. So, make sure, if you're there tomorrow, we'll get you to the hospitality room. Hopefully got a little food that you like, and come do some reporting. As always, we appreciate any spotlight you put on not only our May River kids, but our sport in general.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
And so many guys behind the scenes who make this possible. I mean, you alluded to some of them, but just shout out some names of guys that have been invaluable with you in this process to help run this successful event.
Number one, Coach Walker, Coach Cataldo. Those guys have been with us for a long time. Coach Gio. Those 3 guys have been with us, for almost the entire time that we've been here. They're in the wrestling room every day with our kids. They're working. They help. Coach Bonneville took a step back from wrestling this year, but he's helped his claim to fame is his ability to help get the hospitality room set up. So he's volunteering a lot of his time over his holiday break to get that done. Our parents have stepped up a huge. We got our local sponsor who sponsors a lot of wrestling stuff has sponsored a meal. We've had some of our middle schools, reach out about helping and doing some table work if we need to. We got a great group of managers that help us. Our administration is great. That's right. Our administration is great. They help us out as much as possible. We got to have SROs. We got to have trainers. We got to have table workers. We got to have people collecting money at the door. I mean, there's so much that happens. We got a T-shirt vendor. We got a lot that goes on, and there's so many people. It's just, I guess, my job is to make sure I communicate with them to make sure they know what's going on.
Yeah.
But there's so many people. A guy running a tournament, Greg Brewer. He's state championship coach at West Oak multiple times. He'll be running the tournament tomorrow. So we're trying to get the best people we can to make sure the event runs as smooth as possible.
Outstanding. How many matches you got?
We got 6.
Yeah. So that's the other thing. You got to have 6 clock operators, 6 scorekeepers,
Back tappers. That's correct.
6 back tappers, and those back tappers can throw everything off. Now, if they're not aggressive enough, the whole thing goes to shambles.
Well, today we did about a 25-minute clinic on the proper way to do it, and on the last one, they tried to simulate the official moving quickly to get to like a potential point scoring match. That the tapper has to move.
Yeah.
And I was
they got to get after
nervous because our tapper actually tapped the official from the front of him, meaning that he would have been standing between the wrestler and the official. That made me a little nervous, but I think we got it corrected now. So I hope that will not be an issue tomorrow.
It's a good thing you did the dress rehearsal. That's what you're saying. It's a good thing we did the dress rehearsal.
We at least tried to do it. I can tell you that. But yeah, matter of fact, the McCracken mat is in the main gym, so you'll feel at home there. The River Ridge mat's in the home gym, based off the size of the mats. That's where we had to put them. But so our 2 middle schools will be on display in the main gym.
Well, we've been slumming it on the old mats in the dance room this week.
Yeah,
but
so you don't have to make me feel so bad. I appreciate that, Justin. Thank you.
We'll take the mat time whenever we can get it, brother.
Absolutely.
Whenever and wherever. We actually like the dance room. It's a little hotter, a little more confined. We like that,
which is always good.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's been good practice this week. Well, we appreciate you, man, and get some rest. Big day tomorrow, and we'll see you out there at the Shark Invitational.
Thank you, man. Thank y'all for all y'all do for not only wrestling but all sports. I appreciate that. Thank y'all so much.
We appreciate
yes,
you.
Sir. We appreciate you, Coach Ashley Powell, Mid River High School, doing great stuff. Coaching football, coaching wrestling. I think he's assistant AD in the spring now. He's got all kinds of hats he's wearing, and girl dad. He's got a couple little girls too that are keeping him hopping. So, no, looking forward to some great wrestling this weekend. It's going to be a good time over there. I'm just starting to peek at the brackets a little bit, but man, there's going to be some great matchups coming out. Devontae Simmons was that 150 for Hilton Head that Coach Powell shouted out. Powell, wrestling coaches, they don't know people's names. They just know what weight they are. But Devontae Simmons is who he was talking about. That guy, actually they have to know their names in the moment because they got to know which name they send up there. They'll be like, who's that?
Right.
They gotta know. But no, there's going to be some great wrestling out there. Definitely looking forward to that. Let's shout out some sponsors, our MVP sponsors for LowcoSports, starting with my wife, Megan Jarrett, the official realtor of LowcoSports. She's with Keller Williams of the Lowcountry, and she'd love to help you find your place in the Lowco. Maybe could be a starter home, could be a forever home. Come see us, come live with us here in the Lowco using Megan Jarrett, the official realtor of LowcoSports and the queen bee of the Lowco Hive. And when we find that home, we'll call on my friend Jan Lucas and his team at Homegrown Home Inspections, the official home inspectors of LowcoSports, because of the level of expertise and customer service that they bring to every home inspection. We love their team. They're going to be your eyes and ears and biggest advocate until move-in day to make sure that you're making a great purchase Homegrown Home Inspections. They will be with you to the end. And when it's time to sign the papers, we'll go to Mickelson Law Firm. Our first sponsor, still with us 6 years later. They're the official real estate closing attorneys of LowcoSports. We love Ryan and Tiffany and the Mickelson team, so call on them for all your legal needs. And finally, Hospice Care of the Lowcountry. James Dismond and his caring, wonderful staff at Hospice Care of the Lowcountry provide hospice care, palliative care, as well as free grief counseling. And they just try to make the end-of-life experience a wonderful one for everyone involved, because at Hospice Care of the Lowcountry, it's not about dying. It's about living. Wes, those are our MVP sponsors. And some more basketball. We were going to talk with Robbie and Will White, but they crashed on us. We went too long-winded with Takoya and Powell, and they fell asleep on us. They've had a long day of basketball up in Charleston at that Lowcountry Invitational.
Got hoops all over here.
Oh my gosh, there's so much going on, and I've been trying to keep up with it. I had to break for basketball practice or wrestling practice today, but I do know that at the Orangeburg Sweet 16 today, Whale Branch boys beat HKT, Hunter Kennard Tyler 69-60. Gregory Gilbert had 23. KJ Chisholm with 10. Edisto beat Ridgeland Hardyville. That's our region preview. They'll play each other twice more. 52-46. Good game. Javian Harris with 19. Ponce Capers with 15. Edisto, Singleton should be coaching them. Not Singleton. Roman. Yeah, Roman should be coaching them, because Liv is coaching the girls, I believe. So, yeah, that's our guy. They could be dangerous. Battery Creek beat Airport 67-60, 16 points for Kelvin Willis. I think Elijah Mathis had 15. So Creek, they lost the first one to O-Dub, who's now in the finals. But they came back and hammered Branchville yesterday, and then a nice win today over Airport. Ridgeland Hardyville went the other direction. Won their first one. They lost by 4 to North. Good battle. And then lost another tough one today.
Strong effort.
Yeah, I lost 2 games by a total of 10 points against pretty quality squad. So I don't think it was all bad weekend for them. Whale Branch let it get away. They had Calhoun County down by like 13 at halftime last night and lost 56-51, despite Bradford Thompson 20 and 10 and Greg Gilbert 20 points, 9 boards, and 3 blocks. But they let that one get away and then won today. So they went 2-1. So far, I guess there's one more day.
One more tomorrow.
One more day of this tournament.
There's a lot more depth. I'm guessing you see a lot more players off the bench in that one, with being the 4th game in 4 days.
Yeah.
So
Start getting a little short on legs, definitely. But Whale Branch is definitely built with some depth. Yeah. Creek has a decent amount. Ridgeland Hardyville has a decent amount. So I would expect they'll be competitive.
Just boys basketball in general here in the Loco, very, very deep. You look at these Battery Creeks and Ridgeland Hardyville. So, they got some dudes.
There's a lot of kind of interchangeable part type guys that you can put out there that are athletic enough and understand what's going on, that they can fill a role. And you're starting to see more and more of them on these benches. You see some pretty good dudes sitting on the bench. A lot of times that you're like, that guy can play a little bit, but maybe they just don't fit into what they're trying to do or whatever in that moment. But then also we had the IP Builders Holiday Classic at Carleton Prep got going yesterday. On the girls' side, Florence Christian beat Charleston Collegiate. Calhoun beat Thomas Hayward, and Carleton Prep beat Jefferson Davis. And then today in the girls' side, Hilton Head Prep beat BA 42-26, and Thomas Hayward beat Jeff Davis 39-15. So 2 local teams getting dubs today. Yeah. And then on the boys' side, you had yesterday Bethesda beat Florence Christian. Orangeburg Prep beat Faith Christian. Thomas Hayward beat Calhoun 51-49. And Calhoun Prep beat Jeff Davis 58-55. So home team got the dub. Today in boys, I don't know that I've seen. Yeah, I saw Orangeburg beat Savannah Classical bad. BA beat Thomas Hayward 49-42. I haven't seen the Carleton Prep score, but it should be coming along before too long. I'll check on Twitter, but a little bit weaker field for that tournament this year. Some teams that usually go. Charleston Collegiate beat Carleton Prep boys, so a little weaker than usual. Hilton Head Christian didn't go boys. They went last year, didn't this year, so that dropped it off a little bit. But we could still see some decent matchups in the finals of that thing, I think.
Hilton Head Prep, strong effort against a pretty good Kingsridge Christian team. I don't know if it's a tournament game or just
it is. It's St. Andrews tournament.
Okay, St. Andrews.
Yeah.
Okay, but how about Billy Barron going off for 21? That was a guy who was sinking some threes beyond the arc in that last Holiday Classic game over University, but that guy's really started to find his stroke beyond the arc. So someone to look out for alongside Ben Fry. So
he can shoot it. He's a really good spot up shooter. When he gets hot too. Yeah. Oh, that's the thing. Like against BA, he found the stroke, and you could just see his eyes light up, and it was like, oh, he's in the zone.
Yeah. They held Britchie to just 5. They held Britchie to 5, but Ben Fry and Connor Campbell both went in double figures. So good to see some other guys.
Must be a pretty good Kingsridge team. Yeah. They forced Prep out of their comfort zone. It looks like 71-62 is really high scoring for Prep. That's not really what they'd prefer to do. But
they like to shorten possession numbers, but they're still able to fire some threes, which they did, on and off in that Holiday Classic competition. I'm sure they wish they could have hit a little bit more against John Carroll's school, but they would have had to be pretty strong from beyond the arc because that John Carroll defense was legit. But even so, good stretch, and they're challenging themselves. I mean, this is I think, going into the season when you talk about losing a guy like Sean Cusano, and Richie's really filled into that big man spot, and then we've seen some other guys, been able to produce in terms of just shooting and running the offense, and then stepping up on the defensive end. So Fry, I think he's taken a step forward, and that kid I mentioned earlier, Billy Barron, and that guy can light it up. So if he gets going, watch out. That's another guy to defend for Hilton Head Prep, and then Connor Campbell's really run the show. Very well deserved of that alternate team recognition. So, and then the Hilton Head Christian Academy in action as well over the week.
The Carolina Invitational, which is a massive event. Finding scores out of that is yeoman's effort. There's just so many to scroll through. My goodness. I do know this much. I know that
boys lost to
Skyline. Boys lost 47-41 to Skyline.
Girls were up against George Washington, West Virginia, I believe.
That's what I know as well. You know what I know about that one. I know there are scores out there, but I can't.
Let us know in the comments if you're watching, if you got any.
No, HHCA girls lost 57-36 to George Washington. Ooh. I believe what we knew was that somebody was up by 20 at the end, but we weren't sure which team. Somebody checked in on the live stream and saw the spread was 20, but we weren't sure which team. But it was not the good team, or not our team. It was a good team, very good team, clearly. But it wasn't our Lowco team. But, I also have some other fun news to report, non basketball or wrestling related. Well, I mean, kind of basketball related. The video of our guy Ian that I shared the other night from Hampton County has officially gone viral. You would definitely call it viral. What is happening? We will share with you again in case you haven't seen this video of Ian Lawson from Hampton County playing against Battery Creek the other night at Battery Creek, and really close game right up until about midway through the fourth quarter. Early in the fourth quarter, Hampton County started to pull away. They were up by 17 late, so they saw the opportunity. We saw Ramon Gray and CJ Brown come together at the scores table and talking about something. And what's going on over there? Ian's going in. So we got Ian into the game, and it was a little bit of a struggle for a little bit. Man, his shot's good, but he just could not not the home rims. He just couldn't get a bounce at first, and then he got a little flustered. But he's like, hold on, I know what to do. I got to hit my tween. Got to hit my tween. Get my mojo back. Good stroke here. Can't believe he didn't get the bounce there. Can't believe it didn't go. Another good look at it. Desmond Mathis just racking up the boards, though. Racking them up. Little D getting all kinds of boards here. Oh, man. I couldn't believe it. They were trying to get him to use the glass, but he was determined to make it from the baseline. So,
here it comes.
Here we go. There it is. Boom!
Woo!
There it is.
And
the
celebration is the best part.
Just absolutely phenomenal.
With his teammates and even the other players and fans were excited as they could be, which is, those are the moments that we love the most, to see these kids earn this, opportunity in this moment that they deserve. And that kid, he's gone through so much throughout his life, and to be able to have that amazing special moment to become really the MVP of that ball game in all intents and purposes, and hit that shot. Great stuff.
And let me tell you, he is a star, because
he is a worldwide celebrity.
Over 400,000 views on this thing. We're up 90,000 since 4 p.m. today. I think we've officially entered viral territory. Overtime picked us up. Put it out on Twitter today.
Overseas,
or X, whatever we call it.
Yeah, X,
overtime. Yeah, overtime is they got 1.6 million followers. So Ian is officially a star now.
He is a worldwide
across all social media.
Celebrity.
I'm getting notifications just constantly of more people finding it and commenting on it. The algorithm has fallen in love. So just wanted to share that. It's super cool to see it happening in real time, and know how many people are seeing it and being moved by that moment. And giving shout outs to both teams and both coaches and, everybody involved. It just, God dang.
It's bigger than basketball. That's
cool.
The level of sportsmanship that we need. The love for one another, it goes beyond, the wins and losses in the box score. They're making a lifetime moment for this young man, and that's one he's never going to forget. So kudos to everyone involved and to both teams, and congratulations to our man Ian for taking advantage and living out such an amazing moment. So congrats to all involved.
I'm going to keep trying to get him on the Sports Center top 10. Yes. I think that's going to happen. But
did Chip make it in the top 10? Chip Mullen?
I don't know. He was worthy of it. He was definitely worthy of it. His wrestling matches were phenomenal. Just unreal crowd presence, just commanding the crowd, which Ian did too. And Ian did go flex on the creek bench after he made his shot, which was pretty great. Pretty great. Yeah, he flexed on him. It was great. But let's shout out some more sponsors. We got the varsity sponsors of LowcoSports. Reverence Wrestling Club, the presenting sponsor of the Lowco Grind. Been on Wednesday nights, but we're going to go to Saturday night this week. We're going to have a special Saturday night special where we break down the Shark Invitational after the fact and set the tone to keep on with, I believe, Saturday night broadcast for that show going forward due to scheduling conflicts and just kind of things shifting away from the Wednesday duels and toward the Saturday tournaments. Going to make a little bit more sense to get news out in a more timely manner, and should be a good time. But Reverence Wrestling Club, the place to go to take your skills to the next level on the mat. And I just keep hearing from more and more people who are saying, man, I finally went to Reverence, and holy cow, a couple of practices made a big difference. So love to see kids having that opportunity to get extra training, literally going from your school practice to another 1 or 2 practice sessions afterwards, and just getting more reps, more being more exposed to more is really helping kids go to the next level. So shout out to Reverence Wrestling Club, as well as our other varsity sponsors, DDS Web Design and the Parker Law Group. DDS Web Design, building, hosting, and maintaining websites for small businesses and nonprofits to help you get found online so that you can do more and think bigger. I mean, the key to business these days is being found online, especially in those organic searches, and DDS Web Design can help you get found. So check them out at ddshhi.com and tell them that Lowco sent you. And the Parker Law Group, if you have legal needs, especially in Hampton, Colleton, and Jasper counties, they've got you covered. And they've also got us covered with the sponsorship to help us continue to expand our coverage in those counties and shine a light on more deserving teams and student athletes around the Lowcountry. So those are the varsity sponsors, Wes, and got a couple more basketball results I think that we can report on here. May River, the boys, they're playing a tournament in Rock Hill. I'm not sure exactly what that tournament's called, but they beat Lowcountry Leadership 62-21 yesterday. They beat the Greenville Hurricanes, which I believe is a homeschool program up there, 59-39 today, and then they will have don't know tomorrow. They have I don't know tomorrow, which they're usually pretty tough. If you won your first two, I don't know is pretty good. If you lost your first two, I don't know is not very good usually. Just kind of depends on how the other two went. But I continue to be impressed with that May River team. I don't think either one of those games was really super competition for them. But I
business so far.
Fine tuning stuff.
Yeah,
they're a solid squad. They've been fun to watch.
Yeah. But
tell me more about the Bobcat Classic as far as setting up today's matchups, and especially for the two Bluffton teams who are in the winners bracket. How do you feel like those matchups kind of shake out based on what you saw today?
I got to see a little bit of the team that Bluffton the girls will face in tomorrow's semifinals. Just pulling up the bracket now, but they actually played against Whale Branch, and I'll tell you, Whale Branch got off to a pretty slow start and really couldn't keep up. But Cypress Bay, they got a couple of good guards, really technical players, and they rebounded well today in their contest against the Warriors. And I think Bluffton will be able to hang with them. I expect a close game. That's a scrappy team that they're gonna see tomorrow over there. So I think if Bluffton plays the way that they showed last week in that tournament on the road with beat Greer, they can play up to those standards. I think Bluffton can handle them, but I certainly think it's going to be a tough nail biter from the sense of what I'm thinking about the Cypress Bay team, because they're deep. They got a lot of young ladies who can get out transition. I thought they ran the floor really well and got out after Whale Branch, got a lot of steals on defense. So, and Warriors just really couldn't handle what the pressure that Cypress Bay was applying throughout that ball game. So I think it's going to be a very interesting contest. Two teams that play really good defense. So excited to see how that one unfolds. Then the boys' side, I wasn't able to see Marvin Ridge in Cypress Bay. Marvin Ridge won that game 57-53. And then Bluffton, obviously, we talked about the boys' team earlier and what Carnell Warren was able to do. It's been a streaky year for Bluffton, but I think being at home and being in their own building, I think that's going to help in this game. Although I expect that Marvin Ridge team to be pretty solid, so I think Bluffton will have to really be at their best tomorrow. And I've liked the way they've been trending this season, even though they've taken some lumps and they can play tough teams really well. We saw that against Hampton County. So if Bluffton's on, do not count them out in this game, but I do think Marvin Ridge is going to be a solid test. Hampton County, though, tough loss. It was tied 25-25, and then Marietta went on like a 10-0 run or a 12-0 run. Hampton found a way to scrap back those last few seconds, but couldn't quite finish off the comeback. They lose 41-37, so they have South Point, North Carolina, in the consolation bracket tomorrow. So certainly a tough one for Hampton.
That's a good test too. That's what I love. Is even if you lose your first one, you can still get a pretty good test go through the backside of the bracket. It's always a pretty competitive tournament. Not a lot of blowouts, it feels like, which I like.
Yeah, a lot of close games for sure. But Bluffton Marvin Ridge at 7:30 p.m. and then before that, the 6 p.m. game on the girls' side. So we got back-to-back Bluffton contest. The girls taking on Cypress Bay. Winner of that one will play the winner of Woodmont and Episcopal in the final on Saturday. So should be a nice couple 2 days of basketball to finish up this Bobcat Classic. And how about Puna Ford? I wanted to mention him because he showed out against the LA Chargers back this past week with a sack, 2 solo tackles, and great to see him step. He always seems to step up when he gets the opportunity. And Jordan Phillips starting defensive tackle for the Bills, suffering a dislocated wrist. So Puna Ford able to get a bit more time. And I think Phillips looks like he's a chance he could return for the postseason if the Bills make it. But I expect Puna to get a lot more work down there in the trenches for this Bills team. So, and certainly generating quickly a lot of well-deserved fans, because those guys get behind, especially Bills Mafia.
Oh, Big Poon.
Oh.
Yeah, it's good to see him get an opportunity. It hasn't been the season that he had hoped for when he signed there, certainly, but still grinding and getting an opportunity, making the most of it, and that's all you can do, man. I mean, it's not all gonna go your way all the time, but D. Delaney, another great example of that, of just continuing to grind until you get another opportunity. And he hasn't let go of it still.
Yeah,
still.
And they know that they can trust him. When a guy goes down.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing that keeps you on a roster even after the talent may start to wane a little bit, and you may not be quite as fast as somebody else or quite as whatever as somebody else, a younger guy. But there's that trust factor of like, yeah, but do we really, if we have to, do we really want to do that, or do we want to go with this guy who's done it before? So yeah, I think Puna's his final chapter is far from being written. He's still got a long run, and
I'm really starting to like the Bills this year too. I mean, that's a team that's trending upwards as
can they beat the Ravens though? The Ravens look really good right now. Yeah. I am scared of the Bills though. I'm not.
I think if the playoffs would start today, I think they would go to Arrowhead. I'm not sure about that, but there's a chance.
Yeah, I'm not feeling real confident about my Chiefs at the moment. Like, I don't know, man. There's just the receivers are just not very good, and it's becoming an issue. But he does, he for sure does. But we digress. Let's get on track. Let's shout out the Lowco Booster Club, and then get our athletes of the week and call it a night, because I'm tired. Been a long day. Been a long year. We're almost through it. Lowco Booster Club. Right now, the members are the Court Lifestyle Pros, Lowcountry natives Daniel and Debbie Court, selling the Lowco lifestyle on Hilton Head Island. So if you want to live the good life like the Court Lifestyle Pros, call on them and they will take care of that for you. Barefoot Floor Care of the Lowcountry. My guy Chris Odom is the man when it comes to cleaning floors. He'll get them so clean your feet will thank you no matter the surface. Prime IV Hydration and Wellness. Go see Max. Say hi. Belfair Town Village. Get you an IV drip. I know you're dehydrated. I know I am. I'm thirsty right now, and I ran out of beverage. But I need to go to see Max at Prime IV Hydration and Wellness. Rooted Living Wellness. I also need to go see Dr. Ambrose Cole because my back is cracking. I've been sleeping on bad beds and couches and stuff, and it's been a rough holiday season on my back. But I know when I go see Dr. Ambrose Cole at Rooted Living Wellness, he'll get my back feeling right as well as everything else. I'll just leave feeling better after visiting such a great spot. So go check them out. They've got massage therapists, physical therapists, everybody you need for restorative care over at Rooted Living Wellness. Eagle Creations, great spot for your promotional items, custom apparel, and custom gift baskets. They've got a showroom over on Argent Boulevard. So go see Mandy and see what all she can do for you. And Jay's Barbershop, the place to be in Ridgeland, haircut or not. If you want to hang out in Ridgeland for a little while, be entertained, go hang out at Jay's Barbershop. They might talk you into a haircut. They might not, but you'll have a good time, and you can grab some tacos if you're hungry. Those are the Lowco Booster Club. Wes, let's do some athletes of the week before we call it a night. Who you got? Who you shouting out?
Oh, I'm going to go with my guy who I just saw lighted up for the Bobcats tonight, Carnell Warren. He was a dude possessed, hit 3 key 3-pointers, and was just a monster on the boards. He was passing the ball really well, really in sync with the rest of the offense. And when that dude is on, he is lethal to stop, and he really was the difference in Bluffton's narrow win tonight. So hopefully he can keep it going the rest of the tournament. But, these football athletes we mentioned have been the big story. Them, Carnell Warren and Brandon Bryant, who's also putting some nice work over there. So I'm liking how this Bobcat team is looking. Obviously, they've taken some tough losses, games that they should have won, but And I think if Carnell can really build on what he did tonight, that could go a long way for this Bluffton team. So really impressed me with what he did and leading the scores in a in a big time tournament game. I'm going to go with my man Carnell Warren.
Very good. You got a girl or?
Yeah, I'll go with Jelena Mosley from Bluffton. Hit that game winner the other week, and led Bobcats to scoring with 14. So she's been really that
solid
other player that the Bobcats have been able to trust and has really, I think Tekoya with the usage and she certainly carries the load, but the X factor for sure has been Mosley, her ability to hit some clutch shots and pull down some big rebounds and just really find a way to elevate her team when they need someone to do that. So I'm going to go with Jelena Mosley alongside her fellow Bluffton Bobcats in Carnell Warren.
Yeah, I think that Tekoya would probably support that choice and say that Jelena, being able to carry more of the load really helps her be better because it takes some weight off of her. There have been times over the years where you could see the weight becoming too much for her in some moments where everybody looked to her like it's your time, and it was a lot for her early on at times. But she's got some people to shoulder the load now, and Mosley definitely has been terrific. And I love Carnell. He's a great kid. Just he lights up when lights up the room. He's one of those guys. He's funny too. He's low-key funny. Girls player of the week for me, I got a shout out. We give her lots of love, but still probably not enough. Courtney Campbell. We mentioned that Hilton Head Prep beat BA today 42-26. Courtney had 29 of them. 29 out of 42. Speaking of a supporting cast that's really stepped up, they certainly have, but it does it reminds you of a couple years ago, Tekoya, where it was like, okay, well, you got to do most of it. We'll help with some, but you're going to have to do most of it. And Courtney wears that well. I mean, she had to do pretty much everything for a while. But they've got some kids who are really stepping up, understanding roles. I think Hartman is terrific. I mean, I just do. I think he's done a terrific job. He's been the right guy for the job, for what they've had. Gets blood out of a stone, so to speak, as far as the production that they get out of the talent and athleticism that they have. As far as basketball training, I mean, basketball talent goes. They've got kids who are athletic and talented, but they aren't, really basketball players, but they got a good group right now, and I think he's doing a terrific job of getting the most out of them. So kudos to Courtney Campbell for continuing to be a terrific leader for that Hilton Head Prep girls team. And I think they got Orangeburg Prep tomorrow. That's a tough matchup, but it's the kind that if they play well, they could really frustrate the heck out of Orangeburg, and if they can make shots and set up the press, and pressing teams don't like to be pressed, that kind of thing. That could be fun. That could be really fun. On the guys' side, I'm trying to remember. I don't think we haven't done athletes of the week since Houston Rudisil won that tournament, right? That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, let's go there. I know we shouted him out on the Loco Grind presented by Reverence Wrestling Club, but Houston Rudisil from Mid River, we mentioned him in the talk with Coach Powell. Freshman, 138-pounder up to now, dropping down to 132 this weekend, and he's been terrific, just undefeated at the high school level thus far, which is pretty special start to your season considering they've wrestled a pretty tough schedule. He will be tested, as Coach Powell mentioned. He won't be one of the top seeds in this 132 bracket this weekend. He's seeded 8th, which is pretty incredible. We got a guy from I don't even know what that school is. Comey. What's Comey? Cox Mill, North Carolina. That's one of the guys seated ahead of him. He's number 1 seed. 2 seeds from Gilbert, 3 seeds from South Effingham, state champ program from Georgia, 4 seeds from Fort Mill, state championship team. So yeah, we got some dudes in this bracket, is what we're saying.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. But one thing I wanted to mention before we go is we've talked about it a lot, but being at these gyms during the holidays, you get to see some old friends that are home from college for a bit. I got turned to Kevin Brown, our guy running Go Graphics at Bluffton High School, and he's still doing his thing. He's helping out with what I heard from Mr. Brown is, with a couple of commitment videos coming up. So we'll keep an eye on that as the days and weeks approach. But man, I love that kid so much, and I heard he's been getting a couple of big time opportunities already as a freshman. And man, he's just killing it over there. I'm just so proud, and it just goes to show. I mean, what we do and how we support him and what we were able to do with him. He was an intern for us, and we helped him get to this new point and to this next stop in his journey. And now he is succeeding at that new level. So we are so proud of what Kevin is doing, and just so awesome to see him back here and continue doing his thing and helping out for the Bobcats while he's home. So thanks so much to Kevin Brown for talking to you, and so proud of what you've been accomplishing.
Yeah, go. Yeah, I see all the stuff he's making up at South Carolina State. He's working with football players and stuff and making cool, just incredible stuff. He's a really talented filmmaker, and he's got a great future ahead of him. I do got to check with him and see if he's got my battery charger for that one camera, though, because I can't find it. And I think he's the last one in Addis, so I'm trying to find where that thing went. I've searched high and low, but no, he's doing terrific work, and we love seeing that. Brady Sacha also, just continuing to kill it with his skills. But let's wrap this thing up, Wes, and call it a night. So again, my athletes of the week going with Courtney Campbell and Houston Rudisil. That's going to do it for tonight. It's been a great show. Enjoyed it. Thanks to Ashley Powell for jumping on to talk wrestling, as well as to Koya Hayward. Always a pleasure to have her. Thanks to you, Wes. Thanks to all of our sponsors and everybody who came along for the ride. Wes's laptop's about to die. So for Wes Kerr, I'm Justin Jarrett. Until next time, go Loco.
The Lowco Sports Lowdown podcast is a production of Lowco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports to keep us going and growing.